You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so I might be blurry at times. But we got a great show. Keith Reza with my trusty sidekick,
Alan Lee, the one and only Tonto to the Lone Ranger.
Alan's finally getting you're getting quick on that.
Oh, quick.
If you guys remember at the beginning of the show, Alan would just be like, "What's my name?"
Well, that's you know what? That was cute. Forget the Las Vegas trip. You can stay home.
But we got Alan Lee here on the Zoom. Dude, I gotta tell you, man.
Yeah.
I'm over the Zoom interviews. I want to get back to the studio.
I can't. You know, want to know something? Thank you. As much as I like this, I do want to go back and.
Like, I think the Zoom is cool if a guest can't make the studio. Like, it's better than a phoner. But the studio, there's just something. I don't know. Like, we would go on a drive. We would.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a mini
We
road
would
trip.
do some more research, and then we would go out to dinner after with the guests and stuff. So I feel like the studio.
Listen, this is not. You know, a People magazine. You have to tell that we farted and what we do before the. That's enough.
Right. Okay.
Putting everything out to the whole freaking world.
Okay.
People magazine.
You all right?
This is not No, you're doing TMZ instead of Razor Ribs. You say, well, you know, we found that we're out. You know.
Have you ever been stalked by TMZ?
I'm not a big fan. I don't know. You know, I'd like to. You're famous if they do that.
I remember one time I was with Andy Dick and they were stalking him.
Oh, no. I that's right.
Yeah.
It was what's the name? Anyway, yeah. Well,
And Andy was just like, he was just like telling me, he's like, don't talk to them. They're not your friends. And he'd walk really fast.
Yeah, well, that's what you do.
And you see him the following week on TMZ and he's talking his ass off to them.
Yeah, that's what you do. You do that. First you say, don't talk to me. And then you act like you love them.
Talk to him.
That's Hollywood. And
That's Hollywood.
you're out there, it took you a long time, you being out there in the OC, running that club there, a great club in Orange County, the one that you run with the other guy. What's the one there in the arcade?
The Rec Room.
The rec room. You managing a rec room has been a lot to do. And,
I don't manage it. I book a show there.
that's managing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I don't.
Humble. Don't be humble.
I think Kenny manages it. I just book a show, and that one show I manage.
And without you, and where would Kenny be without you booking people there? What would he do?
Well, he'd probably book other people that I don't book. I don't know. But
why don't we have him call in tonight? Since we have a great guest, why don't we have Kenny call in and explain what he does over there?
Yeah,
that would be funny.
That would be funny. I think Kenny hates you though.
That's nonsense. Oh boy, no, you kidding me? Last time I was there with you and
but you know what? I think Kenny hates me too. So
I don't know why you use words like that. Hates you, and that's just like
because he never talks to me.
He doesn't talk to anybody.
But anyways, that's enough about whatever, you know. Kenny's a great guy. You love Kenny.
I do.
But we got a great show, and it's good to, because you've missed like 4 in a row.
Well, I'm sorry.
And it's good to have you back. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's very sweet. I thought you were going to bug me. That's very nice of you.
Because Victor Pacheco has been stepping in as the trusty sidekick for it.
You know, is he a little? Oh no, Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco.
I like him. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. I was thinking about having a Reza Riffs fight off between you and Victor.
Well, you know what? You tell Victor to bring a gun.
Whoa! All right. Well, we got a great show today. Our guest, you've seen him on The Tonight Show. Cheers.
Yeah.
Live at the Improv.
Right.
Last Comic Standing, Comedy Central. the great Lockie LaPorte will be here.
Oh, yes.
He'll be here to talk to us about
He is
the
here.
early days of comedy and today. And he's in the building right now, so we're gonna let him
the
in.
green room?
Yeah,
He's in the green room?
I'm letting him in right now.
Beautiful.
Uh,
I like his name.
Buddy,
hey, Rocky, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
Oh,
How
man,
much? Thanks for finally doing this, man.
You're welcome, brother. I had a lot of trouble with they're putting in new lines and stuff everywhere. Everybody's cables going out over here, you know.
Yeah. Rocky, I wanted to introduce you to the trusty sidekick, Alan Lee.
Hey, buddy, how are you, Al?
Glad to meet you, sir.
You too, my friend.
I can see that this is a gentleman, and he's not going to mistreat me like some people do.
Well, Keith is.
Rocky, Alan Lee's here in case my jokes don't land. He laughs.
Oh, is that right? Okay. He's your Ed McMahon.
He's the Ed McMahon.
Good, brother.
Stop drinking.
Yeah.
Ed never did. Ed went all the way to the grave drinking.
Yeah.
Have high blood pressure.
So, Rocky, I wanted to ask you, like, right now during these COVID times, where you do interviews over Zoom and you're not doing them in a studio or stuff, like, do you find it like a bit more easier or more of a hassle for you?
As long as the internet's running fine, I think it's easy to do it at home. You know, I've seen some online shows that were just like god awful because who doing stand up in their bedroom? You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Did you ever do any of those Zoom shows?
Yeah, I did a few. Because that's all that was happening at the time.
Yeah.
And, when they sent us home on St. Patty's Day, I was working in Vegas, and I didn't work till that October, and from March till October, and then the first October thing I did, it was out in a cornfield, like in this farmland, and people were sitting around fires, and there was like deer running through the corn, and I never thought that would ever happen in my life, but there's where we make our money, right?
Was that Chappelle's place?
No.
Did he have like a place like that?
Did he really? No, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. That's what Saget told me. Saget told me that because I was close with Saget, and he said like all his gigs were at Chappelle's place during the COVID time.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So.
Oh no, I wish, man. Man, what a rough year it's been for comics. With starting with Norm, and Louis was a good friend of mine, and Saget, and then Gilbert Godfrey. It's like, man, like it was like open season on comics.
It was terrible because like Norm was my best friend. I don't know if you knew that, but
is that right?
Yeah, I opened up for him for 8 years.
Wow.
And
you went to his funeral.
I went to his funeral on Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh boy.
And which is so nice because the funeral was 9 months later.
Oh, is that right?
But Norm introduced me to Saget, and then when Norm died, Saget called and texted me once a week, at least for like an hour or whatever, just to cope and stuff. So I was becoming really close with Saget, and then all of a sudden he died. I was just, so like
You think it's you, Keith? You think you're bad luck?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I also started opening up for Saget.
Keith, the comic killer.
Yeah, I started opening up for Saget, and then I also opened for Jay Moore. And Jay Moore, once Saget died, he said, "Hey, I don't want you to open up for me this year." I was
really?
like,
Is that right? Oh my God! I hope nothing happens to Alan.
I know. Alan's been alive.
You got. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, Rocky, how because you were just in Brea a couple weeks ago. So how like that was that like your first major 5 shows back?
No, it was so weird, Keith. Like there was clubs opening up like in states where, like Florida, I don't even think they know down there that there was COVID at all. Like I think they closed for like a half hour when it first came out. And then the governor down there is like, oh, come on in, we're open,
Yeah.
So it was weird. Like some states were like at half capacity, some were at 30%, and then some were at, oh, we're back to full thing, but you got to wear a mask. So it was like every state was different,
Yeah. Well, it's probably easier for guys like you to get like the work and stuff compared to guys like me, where no one really knows who I am. I don't have any credit, and you're a national headliner. You got the credits, so it's probably easier for you to get into clubs that are actually open during these times.
Yeah, but they're still paying shit money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they would always go, oh, we can't, we're not back. We have to make up that money we lost for 2 years, and
They're like,
is what
can
we
you do it
do.
for a discount?
Yeah, pretty much, right? I mean, we lost money too, right? I wasn't working,
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you having a hard time finding work, Keith? It seems like things are opening up.
Yeah, I actually am having a hard time. I got my first gig on Saturday and I had to cancel because I got COVID.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Right now?
I have it right now. But
Oh, I'm sorry, brother.
oh no, that they say if you survive day 3, you'll probably pass it.
Oh, okay.
So I think I'm gonna survive this because
Wow. Good luck, man. You don't feel like it's not hard to breathe or nothing?
no, it totally is. But I try not to think about it. I just want to think about the joy. You know what I mean?
The joy of COVID?
No, my joy in life is comedy. So that's why I didn't want to cancel interviewing you, because I love comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear Alan. It's hard to hear him.
So you know what? We were, thank you. This is a gentleman. I'm telling you, this man, would you please do something with the volume? I'm just on the pole.
Who, me?
Can you hear me, Rocky?
A little bit. It's maybe it's me. I don't know.
No, I think Alan just wasn't talking.
Yeah. Thank you, Rocky.
You're welcome.
Rocky,
how's comedy for you, Alan? What's going on? You getting gigs or?
I go back and forth because I support myself with another job, and so I'm not full out trying to get booked, and I roam the city from open mic to open mic, just torturing people. I go, that's one of my hobbies. But I assure you that you'll be the first to be notified when I get a gig.
Okay. Are you in LA?
Yes, sir.
Oh, very good.
I'm over here by the Rams, the SoFi. I'm here in Inglewood.
Oh, nice. Okay. The stadium's beautiful, man.
No, it's beautiful. No, I should say that. I should stop that. That was a joke.
Oh.
No, there are no bullets. See how quiet it is? No, it's beautiful. No, thank you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man.
Great. Good, buddy.
So, Rocky, I remember when you and I first met. We met like 8 or 9 years ago. I was in Wisconsin visiting my father.
Yeah.
And I remember you were doing a gig out there, and I asked you for a guest set, and you didn't even know me, and you said yes. And I just thought that was really cool. That was the first actual major headliner I actually opened up for. So I just want to say that meant a lot to me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're a good guy, Keith, and you're very funny, and it went well. And I was just happy to do that because your dad was there, right?
Yeah, my biological dad. He's only seen me do stand-up twice. Once opened for you, and then he came to California once, and he saw me at an open mic where I didn't do good. So I thought it was cool that he saw me do good for you. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's good. That's bad if your parents get up and walk out on your show, right? They go, we want to beat the traffic. We want to leave early.
It's a tough audience.
It's like, oh God, I've seen his act for 30 years. I'm over it.
It's very hard to impress.
Yeah.
Rocky, when did you know you wanted to do this? Because I know you did it in the comedy bloom, where like at comedy was easy to get work and stuff. Was that where you were like, hey, this is where I want to do for the rest of my life?
This is how dumb I was when I was a kid. I would watch like Carlin and Cosby and all those guys on TV, And I never put it together in my mind that you could, like, that's a job that you could do full time. I thought that these guys had, other jobs or whatever. And I was driving a truck till I was 29, and I was delivering furniture to this store. And the lady told me, she goes, "Did you ever think about doing comedy? You're very funny." And it was almost like what do you call it? That when I'm looking for a big word, somebody help me.
Oh, a competition?
Uh,
Yes.
what is it? Epitome? What do they call it?
Epitome.
What is it?
Epitome.
Epiphany.
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 Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Fentanyl.
podcast is called The Three Idiots.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, it's another big words like that. So I had one of those epiphanies or whatever they're called. And it was like a light bulb. So I actually called, it was the Funny Bone out in Schaumburg. This was in 1988. And I called and I went out and did an open mic, and it went really good, believe it or not. My first time on stage. And the guy goes, "How long have you been doing comedy?" And I go, "About 5 minutes." And he goes, "You want to come back on the weekend?" And I go, "Yeah." So that was in February of 88. And then in October, I quit my truck driving job because I was breaking my back, man. I was loading freight on a semi,
Yeah.
and we had little ones at home. And I was taking home maybe about 300 a week. And that's what they were paying MCs at the time. So I go, man, if I can make that money and not break my back, like, why not? I can always go back to driving a truck. So that's kind of what I did, and it just kind of took off from there,
And back in those days, 300 was a lot of money.
Yeah, they used to pay middles, like the Improv. They would pay you about 800 and fly you in and put you up. Like,
wow.
That's when comedy was booming,
Yeah. They don't do that anymore.
No, I think middle money's down to like 400 or 500. I think it's like 100 a show, and
Yeah.
they cut everybody's money,
Yeah.
When did you start, Alan?
I took a class years ago with Judy Carter, about, quite frankly, 10 years ago. And I have done some shows. I have performed. And, I met Keith at an open mic, and I never thought we would be doing this together. And this has been great because I'll tell you, all the comedians, maybe they feel sorry for me. They continue to give me comedy lessons on the podcast. Like, you just gave me a lesson.
Oh, nice.
You think I would have passed the fucking lesson by now. I could teach a class from what you guys have taught me. But I love it. I'm not going anywhere. And you don't mind if I bring this up? You were on a USO show, right?
Yeah, with Iraq.
Yes, I'd love to be on one of those. And when I looked at the process, I said, "No, you're going to have to wait a while." You have to call the military industrial complex, and then there's some audition, and then there's some other guy you see. That's quite a feat. That's great that you did. I'd love to do that.
I know there's one guy I know. I think he still does them. I could ask him. The first time I went, it was actually the president of the U.S. George Bush. I think it was Junior.
Sure.
Yeah.
He asked Drew Carey, and Drew Carey asked me, and it was me, Drew Carey, Jeff Ross.
Beautiful.
Kathy Kenny, the girl who plays Mimi on the Drew Carey show, and it was a great lineup, and it was good to do. And we were in Saddam Hussein. We're in his hometown of Tikrit about a month before they caught him, and we were out in soccer. Yeah, we had to wear flak jackets and helmets, and the whole time you hear like artillery fire and guns going off, and it was 5,000 troops out in the soccer field, and you just hear all this ammunition and stuff going by. And I go, "You think it's bad here?" I said, "I was just in Detroit for 2 weeks." So they got a big kick out of it. The Michigan people booed, but everybody else clapped.
The no Saddam material. Nobody carries some Saddam material. They said, "We'll just leave it home."
Yeah. They just said, "Don't make fun of the president." Actually, that was like our only. They go, "Don't make too much fun of the president."
Yeah, which is so weird because like I feel like a lot of comics, and not just recently with Trump, but also like in the end of time, it seems like presidents have always been like a easy punching bag for jokes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
JFK got joked around a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is your theory on that? Like, do you think that's just because everyone knows what kind of goofballs they are, or
Pretty
Right.
much. We and almost every talk show, right? Like with Johnny Carson, they always made fun of the presidents. It just seems like the thing to do. I don't like to do that kind of comedy because I feel like it divides your audience, especially nowadays. Like,
Oh,
there's no more middle. You have to pick a side. It's like I ain't picking shit, man.
yeah,
I don't want to play that game, or I don't do nothing about politics, nothing about the war. Like, I want to make people forget what's going on
sure.
for an hour. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
Thank you.
yeah, you hear that shit all day on the news and on the radio. Like, you're bombarded with bad news, and
I also think that's why a lot of talk shows have gone downhill. You know what I mean? Because it used to be where it was all about the funny comic and whoever was the guest is promoting whatever they got, and now it's
yeah,
all about slamming one side. You know what I mean? It's just like
yeah, yeah.
bring back the jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it seems like everybody wants to like they almost bait you to get you into something. I was in Arizona. It was right around, when the election, and some guy yells out, he goes, Trump 2020. And then another guy at the other end goes, F you. And then his wife said something, and then yep. And I said, hold it right now. I go, stop this shit right now. I go, this ain't a political rally. Like, we're not doing this. Like, I'm here to forget about this. This is like a little safe place when we leave the world outside, And then I told the guy, I go, what? I was in the middle of a bit about my mother, and I go, what made you, like, where was the connection between my mother and Trump? Like, what made you yell that out when I'm doing a joke about my mother, you idiot? I don't know.
Oh man. Do now when you first started, do you ever like try to write for other comics, or was it just about you? Like, because like
Right for me.
Yeah, I had some jokes that like maybe didn't fit what I was doing. So yeah, I would give them to my buddies or whatever. But my character developed before my writing did. Like I when I first started, I played like a real idiot. Like I was like super stupid, and I think my character was stronger than my material. So I wanted to write better jokes so I can catch up to that. And then you evolve.
Well, yeah, because like I have like a very dark, sophisticated sense of humor, and a couple months ago, I was actually writing with Norm, and he was like, "These would be great Anthony Jeselnik jokes."
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I'm like, how do I pitch these to Anthony Jeselnik for a job? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Just say, yeah, got some stuff. Why don't you look at it? And I'm sure he gets that all the time. And there's a lot of guys in LA that write for people,
Yeah. But what have you ever because you never started as a writer, you only started as a comic. Have you ever had people help you write like that, or do you feel like that makes you?
Oh, I have a couple buddies that, like Ron Morey. I don't know if you know Ron, he's from Arizona. When me and him work together, we'll try and hang out like a couple times that week and, meet for lunch and write some stuff and kick stuff around. And I used to do it here at my house before COVID did it. Like maybe once a month, I'd invite, some comics over, and I wanted a good mix of, newer comics, older comics, men, women, get a little bit of everybody in there, a lot of diversity. Cause I think I think, women see jokes different than men, and, minorities will see it different than like a rich person and I think it's good to have a little bit of all that because they see stuff that you don't.
Yeah.
And I like doing that. And there's a guy here named Bill Gorgo that has like these things like maybe every couple of weeks you try to go there and kick stuff around. It's a lot of fun,
Yeah. Rocky, this has nothing to do with anything, but as you were talking, my Twitter just came up and said Rocky LaPorte retweeted this, and you were talking to me. How'd you do that?
It's magic. It's on delay. No, I have a service in LA that they they do my social media.
I was like, holy Lord, that's fucking creepy.
Oh my God. That's funny. Yeah, they must have put. I asked them to do it about 3 hours ago, so that sounds about right. No, they're good.
I was just like, holy Lord, Rocky has a ghost.
Yeah. No, I want to plug that. It's called Looking Glass Media. They're really good. The girl there, Jennifer, she's really on top of stuff, and she does a lot of stuff for Fergie. Like the singer Fergie, and like her footwear. They're really good. They're on top of a lot of things.
Now, speaking of social media, do you think, like, in a way, social media is kind of, I don't want to say kill comedy, because I don't feel comedy is ever going to get killed. I think it'll be weakened at times, but do you feel like it's weakened comedy? Because, like, now, if you have a huge social media following on YouTube or whatever, you could do whatever venue, sell it out, but you might not have that 45 minutes to an hour. You'll probably only have that 10, 15-minute whatever you could do. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not sure what you're saying. Like, things you can't say, like, because everybody's so sensitive, or
No, like they're not traditional stand-ups. They're like YouTubers.
oh man, that's I don't want to knock anybody, but to me, I've opened for a couple of guys like that in some casinos.
Yeah.
That's like they have like that 10 minutes of YouTube fame.
Yeah.
And then they do that, and then they're chewing on it for another, 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
people won't go back to see him again. They'll sell out the first time and make money, but the only way to get good at comedy is to do comedy. Like, I don't think, you might get something viral, like a little funny video or something like that, but that's not going to give you a 45-minute show,
Right. So you think, like, those guys should just stick to the YouTube and not do the comedy stuff? Because I feel like that takes jobs away from, like, you getting those weekends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know what? The clubs and casinos, all they care about is putting people, asses in seats, as they say. So if you get some guy that's hot and I did something, it was at a casino up in Michigan, this guy, or Wisconsin, and he sold out like 1,800 seats.
Holy
And
Lord.
I never heard of him before, and I don't know, man. I thought he ran out of gas like 10 minutes in,
Yeah.
but they gave me good money to open for him, and so I'm not going to say no.
When you do casinos, do they pay you in chips, or do they give you a check?
And then they send you home with a waitress. You get some chips and a waitress. I say good luck.
I used to do South Point a lot, and they always paid you with chips.
They really?
Yeah.
They would get because they wanted you to go to the table. They wanted
Yeah. So it was just like, it was a huge hassle. You know what I mean? But
so what did you do, Keith? How much did you lose?
well, I don't have a gambling problem. The person I was with had the gambling problem, so he'd take my chips, and then he'd be at the tables forever. You know what I mean? So it was norm, and then it was just like, oh, great. But yeah, they did pay good, but they always paid you in chips. And I was just like, this is going to be a long night.
Yeah, that's bad news, man. Especially if they know you're a gambler, Right?
They're like, great set. Here's an extra $400 in chips.
A lot of casinos would, they'd cash your check right there, and they'd want you to spend it, like in the casino, like you're giving them their money right back. But I remember when I first started back in the 80s, the Improv, they had a place in Vegas, and there was one in Atlantic City. And, you usually get paid at the end of the week.
Right.
They didn't do that because I guess a lot of wives and comics' girlfriends were calling up and go, mail the check home. Like, this guy's blown it at the casino. Yeah. So we wouldn't get paid. I didn't know that. Like we didn't get paid. They go, no, we're going to send a check to your house, you know?
Is that why you divorced your first wife?
Exactly. Yep. I only had one wife. She wanted me to send a check home so she could gamble.
Now, Rocky, I wanted to ask you about Last Comic Standing, because I think that was a great show, but I also feel the roles and I felt like the roles weren't that great because, for example, you're the nicest guy. I know Ida Rodriguez, she's my comedy mom. She's the nicest girl.
Yeah.
But you watch that show, and it seems like that season specifically, they tried to get everyone to turn on each other.
You're right. Yep. And they made Jimmy Schubert look bad, you know, and Jimmy's a good guy. And they were just kind of putting, you know, a lot of his, you know, some of the worst clips. And I think they were doing that. They were trying to bait us against, you know, and I don't like contests myself, you know, and I don't like to judge other people or, you know, I like to help new comics, you know, people coming up and talk shop and all that. But it's kind of like the nature of the beast, you know, like that's how you get seen and you get exposure. But they pretty much, they wanted you to turn on your friends, you know, like I knew some of these guys for a long time and they wanted you to say, well, I'm funnier than Joe Blow. And then you'd have a, you know, a face off or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And that to me just takes the entire goal of what the show's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They made it into like a reality show where,
yeah,
you know, one day we were supposed to have the day off and it was about 105 in the valley that day. And they were driving about 8 of us around in a van that should have fit 6 people. And they had a camera and a sound guy in there.
Yeah.
So he said the air conditioning's broke on the van. So we're all in there. We're sweating our asses off. And they go, oh, go to this place. And they go, oh, no, we're not going to. They go back here. And then, so they literally drove us around for about 3 hours. I think they wanted to get people to snap and go at each other. And later on, the van driver told me, he goes, no, the air works fine. They told us not to put it on, like to tell you guys they're broke, you know?
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
It's reality TV, right? They want the drama and all that, you know?
Yeah. I would not want to do that because I'm not like, I'm the type of person, if I have a problem with someone that stays between me and that person. I don't want to like blab it on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, when you were doing trucking, did you ever get shot or stabbed? Because that's a pretty dangerous business, right?
I actually did. Yeah. I got held up a couple times, you know?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that story, or does it give you post-traumatic stress?
No, I just kind of got over it. You know, it was just it was late at night. You know, Chicago, it's pretty rough here. You know, like the inner city. It's, I don't know, you guys see on the news out there. There's so much shootings out here and a lot of gang problems, and it's awful, man. Every night somebody's, and little kids are getting hurt. You know, and my brother is a Chicago cop and my nephew's a cop, and it's just I don't know, man. It's a violent city, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I just got held up. It was a robbery. The guy held me up. I only had $8 on me, you know, and this guy was all jacked up on, I don't know what he was on, you know. And I gave him $8 and he shot me. So
Wow.
I don't know.
What's
Are you
truckers are like cowboys. They're like modern cowboys.
Who's that, Ellen?
Truckers. They're going across the country in a wagon. You know.
Yeah.
Think about it. You know, they could all, and they do. Some of them wear cowboy hats. And it's frontier. It's like it's America.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good analogy. That's the second big word I used on the show. Well, you guys helped me with the first one.
Well, we still got the first one wrong.
Yeah.
Rocky, with all this stuff in the past couple months about comedians getting assaulted on stage, is that like, how are your feelings on like on that? Like, do you know kung fu to protect yourself, or like?
I have a punching bag in the basement, and that stand hurts if you ever hit somebody in the head with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have, like I don't think I have that kind of act that offends people. But I hope, because it happened a couple times, that people don't think it's okay to do now. Like,
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
this is where you like the security at the clubs really need to put their
Absolutely.
they need to really work for their money, because they say they kick people out for heckling, but usually they don't. They just say, "Hey, be quiet."
Yeah. What if that guy that went after Chappelle had a knife or something? You know what I mean? Like, what if that guy, he could have did some
I heard he
damage.
did.
Was it a gun with that had a knife shot out of it or something?
Yeah,
like that?
I heard it was something like that.
Man, what
But
happened if he stuck that in his chest?
Yeah. But I also heard Chappelle's not going to press charges, which
Really?
which I don't know why you want to do that, but I don't know. Chappelle has, more money than God, so who knows?
I don't think you do it for. It's better to get a maniac like that off the street. Like, what if he stabs another guy?
Yeah, what if he stabbed me?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, everyone would probably be celebrating, but
Well, Keith, you remember when Andy Dick got ambushed? Was it New Orleans? One of the guys just really came out of nowhere and hit Andy. Really hit him hard and went to the hospital.
Really?
He wasn't even on stage.
Wow. I'd hit him too if I seen his act.
I was gonna say that probably does happen to Andy a lot, though.
Yeah. There's Andy Dick. Let's punch him.
Good reason.
Yeah.
And I love Andy. He's one of my best friends. I know he probably he what's that saying? He pushes feathers on purpose or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pushes the limit, right? The line.
Yeah, like he does that on purpose. I think he thinks that's funny, which whatever. But
it's like Doug Stanhope. Look at Stanhope. He's got his following, but and I like Doug. He's a good guy. And I like Andy Dick too. I only met him once a long time ago, but he was nice. But you hear things about people, and I don't know if that's good or bad for comedy. I guess it's like different kind of music. Like some people like Motown or rap or country, whatever you like. And there's different forms of comedy, but I don't know if some of that stuff's comedy. Like some of it's kind of mean spirited and real dark, but I don't know. I guess everybody got their audience, right?
I think people who think mean comedy is funny, they're deep down, they've been mean to their entire life. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry.
Pardon me. Don Rickles was. I loved Don Rickles.
Yeah, but I think Don was. Like he's like 5'2". You know what I'm saying? Like he's this little chubby guy. Like he's not gonna hurt nobody. But I was seeing things in LA. I think Jeff Ross was hosting them. I think it was at the Laugh Factory or something, or right?
Roast battles.
Those are terrible. People going back and forth, just slamming each other.
Yeah, that's not my type of humor.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And then people think that that's good. It's almost like it reminds me of like in grade school when there's a fight. Everybody's yelling and shit back and forth. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know.
I did do it a couple times, but I feel like it's one of those things where you need to know how to do it in case you come up with situations like against a heckler or something. It'll help you burn them fast. But to do it against other comics who are in the same game, chasing the same dream as you, I don't think that's cool. You know what I mean?
I agree. I felt bad. Actually, when we did Last Comic Standing, I was looking at a thing, and we're actually roasting Gilbert Godfrey. And
I love Gilbert.
And yeah, he's a nice guy. I worked with him quite a few times. He was a good guy, but not now that he passes, you feel bad, But I think I was saying something like I found out recently that me and Gilbert are neighbors because he had to register with the police as a sex offender. And then I said, but Gilbert's given a lot to the comedy world. I go, mostly cold sores and herpes. So, but he was a good sport about it, And that's what you do. You roast, and that's not real bad. Like it's just, and I only did a couple roasts. I don't like, doing them too much,
Gilbert was doing a podcast like 2 hours before he died. Did you hear about that?
Is that right?
Yeah, he did a podcast, and then he, like, during the podcast, he said, "Hey guys, I'm sorry I got to cut this short, but I'm not feeling too well. We'll reschedule or something." So they said,
Really?
"Okay," and then I guess he just went to the hospital and just, so.
Wow.
I wonder if they're going to release that, because that would be the last interview,
Wow.
But
what about Saget? What did you hear about Saget?
I've heard, so here's how the diagnosis was, that he hit his head,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not like a little gossiper or whatever, but I've heard so many conspiracy theories about it. And it just makes me sad because he was my friend. So like whatever happened, obviously he's dead, but whatever happened, I just hope he wasn't murdered or anything. You know what I mean? Because because that would just break my heart,
Yeah.
But
I don't think that would have happened. That's how when Louis died, like Louis was a good friend of mine, and I just I didn't even know what to write on social media. I didn't put nothing, like I don't, I was just more keep it to myself. I loved Louis, and he did my podcast last year, and he was just a good dude,
Yeah. But now you have a podcast. What's that called? The Rocky LaPorte podcast?
It was called I quit doing it I was doing it during COVID, but now that I'm back on the road, like I put it on
It's hard,
hold.
huh?
Yeah, because then a lot of guys you want to interview, they're out working too now, so it's hard to track people down,
Yeah.
And
I mean, I had to track you down for 6 months.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I've been working a lot, honestly.
No, I'm just saying, but I get it. Like,
yeah. I call it full circle comedy. It's called full circle because I said like 30 something years ago, I was when I started comedy, I was in my bedroom, trying to write jokes, and now like 33 years later, I'm in my bedroom trying to write jokes again. I went full circle, you know what I mean? Like I'm back in the same spot that I was when I started.
Now, Rocky, I wanted to ask you about the Rocky LaPorte show, because I actually watched it last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why? I thought it was, I actually thought it was really funny.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I thought it had good jokes, and I thought your chemistry with Ann Cusack was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I knew Ann because they're from Chicago, the Cusacks, and when I started here, she was in a cappella group that I think it was called Acme Vocals. So I knew her, and she's a good egg, but I didn't like the sick. They let me maybe put 2 or 3 of my own jokes in there, and CBS, they go, "Oh, we love this. This is a great show." And I go, "I don't like it, man." Like the writer, the head writer on that show, they had a commitment with who's the guy from 2.5 Men? Not Sheen.
Chuck Lowry?
The guy that played his brother.
John Cryer.
Yeah, John Cryer. Well, John Cryer had a pilot, and I think they committed to 7 episodes. So that was his baby. He was just trying to get my pilot shot and done and out of the way so he can run over to John Cryer's show and get that done.
Right.
And I felt like it was rushed. And I thought every time I made
disrespectful to your pilot, right?
Yeah. And I go, I don't want my name on here. I go, this ain't who I am. I go, if you want an Italian guy, go, get Tony Danza. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like, I don't know, like if I go down, like if I sink with the ship and they're my jokes that I think funny, I'm okay with that. Right. But if they're putting my name on it and other people are putting their words in your mouth that you don't think is funny, I wasn't good with that, because they're just going to go on and you're the one that go, well, he did a shitty pilot. It didn't get picked up. And, I don't know. I thought the writing could have been way funnier, but I didn't have any power at the time, to say any different.
Well, see, and I'm glad that I wish I knew this 24 hours ago before I watched it, because I think when I watched it in the mind of, I know you're my friend. I know Ann, she's my friend. So I felt that's why I liked it, because I saw my two friends. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But if
yeah.
I knew your real point of view of it, maybe I could watch it again and say, oh, I understand what Rocky's saying.
Oh, it is shitty. Yeah, you go, what was I thinking the first time when I said it was good?
I feel like so like when we do this podcast tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, Rocky, I watched your pilot. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. So the makes two of us. I don't think Alan liked it either.
I loved it.
Did you? Okay, thank you, Alan.
Now, Rocky, I wanted to ask you two more questions because I want to respect your time. One, you're in Tim Allen's circle a lot. How did that relationship, like, where do you guys meet and how did that blossom? Because it seems like he helps you out a lot.
Yeah, Tim's a good guy. We had the same managers at one point, and we never met up to that time. Well, the way I understood it, I guess Tim was at home when I did the Tonight Show, and I got a standing ovation on the Tonight Show
With Jay Leno.
Yeah. So we were both with Messina Baker at the time. So I guess Tim asked Rick Messina, he goes, hey, I saw Rocky on, the Tonight Show. And he goes, would he mind they're doing a fundraiser for, I think it was underprivileged kids, in LA.
Right.
I go, sure, I'd be happy to do it, So I did it. And then he gave me he wrote in a small part in a movie for me. And he was just a really nice guy. And then he wrote a part in another movie for me. And, a lot of times your parts get cut out, but it was nice. I got to do two movies with Tim Allen, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. And he treats me well,
Yeah.
Drew Carey's a good guy too.
Drew Carey, the great Drew Carey. He's on what's the show he's on right now?
Price is Right.
Price is Right. Yeah. I got in trouble because you do like when a tragedy happens, everyone writes jokes and stuff, and I got in trouble. I made a joke, but it wasn't against Drew Carey. It was about what happened to his fiance or whatever, and I felt terrible because I know he doesn't know who I am, but he retweeted it and he said not cool or something. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So
was that that girl got murdered, right?
Yeah. So but see that's one of those things, because when that happened, I was a young comic too. And I think comedy also, we just talked about being mean and stuff. There comes a point where you grow and mature and you realize, hey, maybe that wasn't funny, or it was maybe funny at the time, but comedy should be funny forever, and not just at one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then and then a lot, I even like dark humor, I think comics laugh at stuff, that's a little bit off the rails, because that's stuff you can't talk about, right? But we do, in the green room, and that's kind of fun, and there's a lot of jokes I wrote. I go, oh, I can never do that. It's just too, everybody be pissed, especially today. Everybody's up in arms about everything, right?
Yeah. I basically what I'm trying to say is I just should, instead of tweeting that joke, I should have just probably sold it to Anthony Jeselnik.
There you go. Blame it on him. Him or Stanhope would do it. Right? Those guys don't care. That's, I don't know. I couldn't do that. God bless them for the balls they got. Just say anything, but I don't know.
Now, Rocky, my last question for you is, when your time is gone and you're in heaven, what do you want your comedy to remember people in this world by?
Just that he was a nice guy, and I just tried to help people, and I love making people laugh, but I told my kids, and I really want to do this, I told my kids when I die, I wanted to put on my headstone, because, medical bills are so bad now. They're out of control, to have medical insurance.
Yeah.
I want them to put on there, he had a high deductible. That's why I died. And I think that says it, I don't know. But I'd really like that on there. He had a high deductible. I think. You make people laugh in the afterlife,
Well, I think that's I think that's one of the great things about podcasts and YouTube and stuff is because once people pass, their material and their heart will always be there, so people could always listen. You know what I mean?
If I die after this podcast, Keith, I'm gonna haunt your ass. I swear to God. And Alan's gonna be on this. It's gonna be me and the Alan show.
Oh boy.
Alan, you got any last questions for Rocky?
He just booked me. It's just a little wait. Well, no, I listen. This was so enjoyable, and like I said, I learned. You made my day.
Well, thank you, Alan.
I substitute teach. And it can be rough. And
Oh, God bless you, man.
got some material. Got some teaching material. Parent night for me is a little tough because that drive to Chino State Prison is very hard.
That's where you're teaching?
No, that's a joke. That was supposed to be
okay.
It's just a joke.
Well, they do have teachers in there. I know.
It's not
My
that
relatives told me.
Rocky, where can the folks at home follow you and support you?
On RockyLaPorte.com. That's my web. And I'm on Twitter and all that junk, Facebook.
And you tweet when you do interviews. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
amazing.
Is that a first?
Huh?
Maybe that was a first for us. It was a first.
Yeah.
First for me too. I didn't, I didn't even do anything. I was just sitting here talking to you guys.
Well, Rocky, I had a blast talking with you, and you really made my day better, man. So thank you so much.
It was great seeing you again, Keith, and it was good meeting you, Alan.
Oh, glad to meet you, sir.
You guys good? I'll see you when I get to LA. You hear? When I get out that way, I'll look you up.
Yeah, we'll have lunch. We'll have a
Yeah.
chicken.
Yeah, okay. Hey, feel better too, Keith. Get better,
Yes.
brother.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Well, thanks, Rocky. I love you, man, and thanks for rifting with us, man.
I love you
Thank you,
too,
sir.
man. It's great. That was a lot of fun, both of you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you later, buddy.
All right, guys. Bye.
All right. That was the interview with Rocky LaPorte. Subscribe, rate, and review. And we'll see you guys next week. Alan, you got any last second things to say to the folks at home?
I can just say that this gentleman has inspired me to get my career off the ground.
Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
We'll see you guys next
later.
week.
All right.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee right here on LA Talk Radio.